Have you been told you need to stop doing what you love, whether it's exercise, running, or a sport? Well, here at Dynamic, we don't like that answer. In this podcast, we'll talk to leaders in the health and wellness space from Southwest Florida to get the solutions you need to get you back to doing what you love. Welcome to the Dynamic Naples Podcast. What's going on, Southwest Florida? Today I'm here with Chad Rodgers, owner of the gym Show Me Strength in North Naples. How you doing today, Chad?
Doing well. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, of course. Chad is a strength and conditioning coach. In preparation for this meeting, I realized I didn't really know that much about you, Chad. Full disclosure: Chad and I work out of the same gym. I have my own little clinic in the backside, and he runs the gym space. So, Chad, why don't you tell us all about sort of how you came to be? Like, how did you get into athletics, and what led you down this path?
I feel like similar to a lot of trainers, I played sports growing up. Super into keeping my body in the best shape it possibly could for sports: baseball, golf, basketball. But then as I took it a step further and was lucky enough to play professional baseball, I was surrounded by some of the best physical therapists, strength coaches, athletic trainers, and unfortunately I got injured a few times and was able to spend time around all these different kinds of people, and I knew immediately after working with just some of the best minds in the strength and conditioning field and just performance field in general, that's what I wanted to get into once my playing days were done. So I decided to do that once I retired from baseball.
So you were a pitcher, I know that. Can we talk about some of your injuries?
Mm-hmm. In 2008, I had a slap lesion tear, which you're pretty familiar with. It was more of a fraying in my labrum, but it caused a lot of shoulder pain. And it caused me to significantly lose velocity on my pitches. And rehabbing from that taught me a lot about just trying to strengthen the entire body and keep it in turn. It keeps my arm healthy. So that was my first injury. That was 2008. Recovered fully from that.
That was surgically repaired, right?
No, the shoulder was not surgically repaired.
Oh, okay.
The elbow was in 2011. That was Tommy John surgery. So,
Gotcha.
Which, if any pitchers are out there listening, that's a full 12-month recovery rehab process. So it's kind of tedious. And then my final injury was a hamstring tear in 2014, and that essentially ended my career. So.
Did that happen on the mound, or?
It happened on the mound, freak incident. I landed funny, and the other pitcher's, I guess, divot, you could say, where his landing area was. And all I heard was this just loud pop, and honestly, I thought the baseball had been hit right back at me and had hit me in the leg. And unfortunately, it wasn't. It was I had to be kind of helped off the field for that one.
Yeah, a lot of people say it with muscle tears. Like the same thing happened to me. I tore a muscle in my calf. Luckily, it's like a vestigial muscle called plantaris. But I was playing basketball, went up for and I hadn't played basketball in decades. So I came down from a layup and I turned around because I thought someone threw a tennis ball at the back of my leg, and I was like, "What?" And then suddenly I was like, "Oh, I can't walk now."
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah. Did you get a big welt, big bruise?
Big bruising down the leg,
Uh-huh.
and just total loss of range of motion. So that rehab process was interesting, and actually a lot harder than my shoulder and elbow recoveries, just to fully trust it again.
Yeah, hamstrings can be really tenuous. I've seen people get chronic hamstring strains, which is technically a tear. They're tough to deal with. I mean, it's a point of weakness for so many people, as you know. And that was not surgically repaired either.
No,
right?
It was right on the borderline. It could have been.
Yeah.
But being around some good physical therapists, they wanted to exercise all their rehab protocols first before.
Yep.
And fortunately, I made it all the way back.
Now, I know you did some work with Mike Reinold. Which of those injuries, which one did he touch?
So my shoulder, basically when I fully recovered from my shoulder injury, he was working out of Cressy Sports Performance in Boston as kind of like a contractor on the weekends to come in for soft tissue work, and he would see all the pictures. So he worked with me briefly on just soft tissue around the shoulder.
Gotcha. And all this rehab, I mean, I assume it's sort of affected your approach to fitness. Would you say so?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's I guess it's kind of given me an advantage to kind of know how to train people to avoid common injuries, but unfortunately it was at the expense of my health, but now I get to help protect other people.
Yep. And do you still work with a lot of baseball players?
Yeah, quite a few. I thought that that's what I would only do when I got into fitness, but helping the general population has kind of been more rewarding for me. I do enjoy still working with athletes, but baseball players, if they're interested and they come to me with a good work ethic, I still enjoy working with them.
Yep. Okay. So at what point did golf become the passion?
Golf has always been my passion, even since high school.
Did you play in high school?
I played on the JV team 1 year in high school, and just wasn't good enough, and it would take too much time away from baseball to really get into it and perform well. But it's always been a passion of mine, and luckily as a pitcher, I had several days off during the week where I could still go out and play golf and still, not affect my baseball.
Yeah. So if you could snap your fingers, be pro baseball or pro golf right now, what would you choose?
If I started over, I would definitely choose pro golf.
Yeah.
I think injuries, even though they're pretty common in golf, I don't think it's quite as violent on the body.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it seems like baseball, especially pitching, it seems like it's just so much torque on the shoulder. And, we're seeing this, what's called GERD. I'm sure you're familiar with GERD, where you get a sort of rotational deficit, which, that's even sort of been debunked. But my point is that it seems like nowadays these athletes, these younger athletes, are not doing lots of different sports like I did when I was growing up. They're playing baseball year-round.
Right.
And you've got growth plates in those arms, and you're taking like an arm, a 13-year-old boy, and just putting torsion through the arm repetitively full year without much of a break. I feel like there's a recipe for disaster down the road.
Absolutely, and there's such thing as putting miles on your arm. When I was younger and in youth sports, there was no such thing as pitch counts. Now, luckily, we have pitch counts where it doesn't matter if you're, going to win a championship of some sort in travel baseball. If you reach your pitch count, you have to come out of the game, which is great.
They're strict about it?
They're very strict, yeah. And I would just wish I would see just a more holistic strength and conditioning approach to baseball players these days, instead of just playing all year round. I think that would benefit them greatly, and you just don't see many players also playing other sports. They start specializing early, which, if you look at a lot of the Major League Baseball players, they were stars of 3-4 sports in their high school. So
Yep. Yeah, it's always crazy, and I'm sure you've seen this too, where you get somebody who's super high end at whatever sport, and they ask them to say, squat, and then it's a mess. Right?
It is.
They don't have what I'd call like a movement hygiene. They haven't practiced other shapes to put their body in, and some of these rotational sports like golf and baseball are so one-directional, and they're not rotating opposite way. They get a lot of imbalances. That's why I see probably number one with golfers is just if you're taking thousands of swings a week to one direction. I mean, are you rotating the other way ever? Right. So I see that as just inducing massive imbalances.
Right.
So tell me more about your approach to training your clientele. Oh, and also for the listener, Chad's got an interesting way of calling his clients. What do you call them?
Students. Yeah. I just think that just training in general is kind of a lifelong learning process. And even though they are paying customers, I enjoy calling them students because they're learning on a consistent basis, never getting stuck in their ways. And the client just sounds a little too, I know it's professional sounding, but it sounds like, I'm walking into a bank and signing up with a bank.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I'm still learning every day, so I like that. It was kind of funny because Chad sent a patient my way, and the patient calls and says, "Yes, I'm one of Chad's students," and I was like, "Oh, do you have interns, Chad?" So he had to explain to me what he meant by that. Great. So, Chad, where do people find you? I know where to find you, obviously, but tell us a little bit about your new space and how people can find you.
Yeah, just opened a studio in North Naples called Show Me Strength. It is performance training for general population and athletes. You can get in contact with me through my email, Instagram, Facebook. I'm on there as Chad Rodgers, or at Instagram I'm at Show Me Strength.
The Rodgers is with a D, right?
Rodgers,
okay,
yeah.
Right. And the Instagram is at Show Me Strength?
Correct.
Okay, great. All right. Anything else you want to mention?
Not at all. Just thanks for having me in.
Hey, you got it.
Appreciate it.
All right. Okay, that's it, Southwest Florida. We'll talk to you guys next week. Do you have unexplained pain? Or do you wonder just how healthy you are? When was the last time you had your blood tested? Blood chemistry analysis is a great way to stay ahead of any health conditions, and now you can have control of your health with Let's Get Checked. Let's Get Checked is an incredible company that sends blood tests to your home. You can choose from over 30 different tests, whether that's liver function, testosterone, micronutrient, cholesterol, or C-reactive protein, which is a marker for inflammation. It's sent to you with free shipping, and you get results in 2 to 5 days, no physician referral needed. Use the code DPT20 for 20% off. Go to letsgetchecked.com and use the code DPT20. Did you know that you can get started with physical therapy without a physician's referral? Physical therapists don't just solve pain, we get down to the root cause and keep it from coming back. We also discuss all things health, such as nutrition and lifestyle changes. If you feel that you could use some help, let's get on a free consult call. Go to www.dynamicnaples.com and sign up for a free call. Also, if you like this podcast, please give us a rating wherever you listen to podcasts. It helps us spread the message. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.